Welcome to the series of Microsoft Azure. So we started exploring the Azure Data Factory. In the previous video, we started the processed data flow of the code-free ETL as a service. So we are trying to build a pipeline which will demonstrate this processed data flow. So I created the two link services, the Azure Blob Storage LS and the SQL DB LS. The scenario was basically we are trying to uh, move the data from a CSV file which is present in our Azure Blob storage with customer information, and we want to apply a simple transformation before loading the data into our Azure SQL table customer. So we created this two link service. Next we created the datasets, the Blob storage datasets and the SQL DB datasets. The dataset we also tested. You can check the link of this video in the upper right corner, and you also can explore the playlist of this Microsoft Azure link in the upper right corner. Today we will create the data flow. So I will go to the ATF portal and I will create a pipeline. So here in the pipeline I will create new pipeline, and pipeline name will be the customer data flow. And here I will use the data flow activity. I will drag it. So basically, data flow activity is a visual, scalable, and fully managed data transformation service. It allows you to design and execute data transformation using a code-free visual interface within the Azure Data Factory environment. Data flow are part of the Azure Data Factory's overall goal to simplify and accelerate data preparation and ETL, extract, transform, load processes. So if I go to the setting, you can see the data flow. We don't have any data flow, so I'll create new data flow. So we select the data flow and create new data flow. The step 4 is the add source and sink. The source setting will be the blob storage. So using the source transformation in the data flow, I will select the blob storage dataset and configure schema mapping. So I will select the add data source, and here the source setting. Source will be our CSV blob to source, and descriptions will be CSV data from blob storage, and the dataset I will choose the blob storage dataset, and I will remain it as it is. The source options, it will be remain as it is. I will go to the dataset, blob storage dataset, and the parameter file path demo, and the file name will be, if you see the blob storage, the HTML is blob, and here in the container, we inside demo we have this file customer data.csv. I will copy and save it. After saving, I have to import the schema from the CSV file. So from connection and store, I will import the schema. So you can see the schema, customer ID, first name, last name, email, whatever we have in the CSV file. So I will save it. After saving, if I go to our data flow, you can see its column name, it's mapped in our projection, the customer ID, first name, last name, it takings from the dataset, blob storage dataset. So source setting is successful. We configured the schema mapping. Next we have the sink setting. So we will use the sink transformation in the data flow, select the SQL dataset and configure the schema mapping. So I will add the sink from here, the sink dataset, and sink will be our SQL DB sink. Move data from CSV to SQL DB table. Incoming stream will be the CSV blob source, and the Sync will be our SQL dataset. So we have the 4 column and the mapping optimized. Inspect will be the customer ID to customer ID. So I want to check the data type here. The customer ID we have the integer. So string to will be integer, and first name, last name, email, string to string. So for now we have done the sync setting, and I will go to the next step. So next step we have the add transformation. So in the transformation we have to add new column as a derived column transformation. To create new column will be the full name by concatenating the first name and the last name. If I compare the CSV and our table, so our table we have the customer name, email, and the customer ID, and here we have the customer ID, first name, last name, and the email. So the email will be the customer email, and first name, last name will be concatenated to make the customer name. So here I will add the derived column. It is our derived column, and here I will add the customer name. And the expression will be concat first name, comma, space, comma, last name. So I will save and finish. So if I go here, inspect, so customer name, first name, last name, email, and the first name, last name, email, and the customer name, we have the first name and the last name concatenated. And here we also have to make the customer ID integer. So in our database, the customer ID we have the integer. So this is fine. The first name, last name, email will be remain same. Next, I will go to the SQL DB link, and here the customer ID will map to the customer ID, and first name, last name we don't need. I will add mapping, and next we have the customer name, which will be the customer name, and next I will add mapping. The email will be customer email. So all done. I will save it. So this transformation we added, the add new derived column transformation. Next transformation we have the filter rows. So we'll add the filter transformation to filter out rows where the customer ID is less than 5. So if you see the CSV, so the customer ID less than 5, I'll copy these 4 rows into our table, and I will skip this last one. So I will add here filter, and it is from the derived column, and filter on. I will open the expression builder, and here will be the customer ID less than 5. Save and finish. If I inspect, you can see the customer ID is filtered, and here I will get those which have the customer ID less than 5. So I will save it. It successfully saved. Next I will validate. So it's validated. So after transformation, after applying both the transformation, the next step we have the debug, monitor, and execute the data flow. I am putting valid name here, so I put it here the customer ID less than 5. Here I will put added customer name column, or concat first name, last name. Validated this data flow. Now I will enable this data flow debug. So the cluster is ready. It's showing. Now I will go to our data flow activity, and in the data flow activity I will check the source and sink. Source it's correct, and the sink I have to provide the table name. So the table name is customer. Before debug the data flow, I will truncate the table. And now if I show you, we don't have any data in the customer table. So I'll put the value customer here. And I will save this data flow. So I'll put name customer CSV to customer table. I will validate the pipeline validated. Now next I will debug. So you can see it's a debugging. Pipeline status is in progress. You can see the debug successful, pipeline status is successful. If I show the input and output, input here is the customer data CSV, and the SQL DB sync is our customer, and the output here the CSV blob source completed, concat file name computed, customer ID is less than 5, and here we have the map. Now I can check from the database if it successfully moves the data from the CSV, these 4 rows, to our SQL DB or not. So I will select top 1000 rows, and you can see it successfully moved these 4 rows from CSV to our SQL DB table customer. So after successful debug, you can publish these changes, gathering your new changes from the collaboration branch. So it will publish those pipelines, data sets, and the data flow all. The changes successfully published. I truncated the table and trigger the pipeline again. Here you can see the duration is 47 seconds. So you can see it's run successfully, and here is the output. And now if I go to and if I execute it, you can see we have the data. Okay, so I showed the data flow in the code PTL as a service with sample customer data. In the later videos I will demonstrate schedule and monitor also. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, please share the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.